Morning again. I hope you're keeping well. I'm in Essex again, doing another day walk from Essex year-round walks, and I'm doing the autumn walk section. I'm in Epping Forest, which is not far from me, probably about 20 minutes drive. Quite lucky in that sense. So this is going to be my second day walk that I'm doing for my 100 miles throughout October challenge, raising money for Macmillan Cancer Support. You can donate to that via my Facebook page. If you just search Tom Hill, you'll find it there. Literally got this t-shirt this morning for free, they send them to you. It fits me okay, and I like the colour as well. So this Essex day walk today is 3¼ miles. It's not a particularly long walk because I've got to be in work later on, so I thought I'd just get out, add a few more miles to my total to reach that 100-mile goal by the end of October. Epping Forest, I've had a few issues with it before in the past. I'm pretty certain every time I've been here I've got lost. Like, waymarking through Epping Forest is an absolute nightmare, and if you've ever been here, you'll know how vast Epping Forest is. It is huge, so it's very easy to get lost. Hopefully, fingers crossed, that's not going to happen today. I've got about 3 hours to do this walk, which is plenty of time to do that sort of mileage, but of course it's filming it as well. The weather, as you can see, is a lot better today. The last few days it's been absolutely awful. We've had heavy rain, there's been strong winds at times. It's just been an absolute nightmare, and I've not been able to get out and do any walks. And I can't film them either because it just damages the phone camera, which is how this one got damaged. So I've had to do a lot of like treadmill walks in the gym that I work at, which is basically after my weight workout, I then have to get on a treadmill for an hour and try and do sort of 3.5 miles in an hour before I start work. And it's okay, it's not too bad, but it is really tedious and really boring. I'd much rather be out. So I'm so glad the rain's finally stopped, and it's actually quite clear skies, quite sunny today. It's actually quite warm really, considering it's early October. I've got a little cider to review. It's one that I've actually had a long time and I've not got round to drinking it, so hopefully you'll see that later on if I get time. Got some snacks with me in my trusty little OEX Rapid bag. Enough talking, let's get walking. Whilst Epping Forest is beautiful any time of the year, it is for me at its best in the autumn, when the leaves have begun falling to reveal the majestic shapes of the ancient coppiced beeches. This walk largely eschews the drives, the surface paths prepared specifically for the horse riders, which crisscross the forest. Early on, we have to find our way over indistinct paths and along infrequently walked routes to go under the motorway by a tunnel known only to local walkers. Later, during a gentle climb, we have a very real chance of seeing deer before emerging from trees to superb views across the surrounding countryside. Our return takes us past Copt Hall, which is being restored. You may like to return in the early summer to see the rhododendrons flowering on the final stage of the walk. There's a massive herd of deer over there, and there is a huge stag with the biggest antlers ever. There, you can just see them moving now. Just about, yeah. Right, that roar is the M25 motorway, the concrete circle of death that encircles London. If you have ever noticed Copt Hall when driving along the M25 motorway, from which it dominates the skyline, you could be forgiven for believing you are viewing the home of landed gentry. The reality is that Copt Hall was virtually destroyed by fire in 1917, and what the motorist observes now is a shell. Built in the mid-18th century, the present building replaced an earlier one that was, at times, owned by Henry VIII and Elizabeth I. When the M25 was built, it was routed against much local opposition right through the middle of the Copt Hall estate. One result of this development was that the site of the house and grounds became a target for speculators. From 1986 to 1995, a campaign was successfully fought by a few dedicated individuals against repeated large-scale aggressive development proposals for the mansion and parkland. A trust was set up and volunteers are gradually restoring the building and its gardens. A marvellous act of faith which few of them, if any, will see completed in their lifetime. The website www.copthalltrust.org.uk will tell you more. I've just stopped outside Copt Hall, the massive, old, abandoned, stately home, I suppose you could call it. I've just stopped and had me sandwiches and stuff on like a little old wall that was probably part of the formal gardens or something. Needed to eat. I've got a lovely view of the M25 motorway and the surrounding countryside. It's time for a cider. Now this one is a little bit different. It's Waddle Goose cider from Aspel. So it's actually by Aspel, and I've never ever seen it since. I bought this at least 2 years ago, I reckon. I've had it for absolutely ages and I've never drunk it. Right, it said this will give you an indicator. It says best before end July 2020. So it's over a year out of date anyway. So we'll see what it's like. It could be awful, and that could be because it's gone off. I don't know, but it's 4.6%, and of course, Aspel is from the cider house Aspel in Debenham, Suffolk, which is quite cool. So it's a fairly local cider company. Do like Aspel. Modern cider calls for a modern apple. Sure, your Worcester, Spartan and Cox all have their place, but Waddle Goose takes a deliciously fresh approach with apples like Gloucester 69, Zari, Gala.
New varieties bred to be mouth-wateringly crisp and flavoursome. Refreshment deserves a refresh, and here it is, Waddle Goose, the contemporary cider from Aspel. So it's a little bit quirky and a little bit different. I like the sound of that. Let's crack it open. Like I say, don't know what it's going to be like. Has it got any fizz left? Don't know. It's got fizz. I've been waiting to see what this is like. Oh, it smells alright. Oh, let's see what it's like. Cheers everyone. To absent friends, we'll say, as I'm raising money for Macmillan. Cheers. Oh, it's got a funny little kick to it. I don't know if it's because it's out of date or not. There's a little bit of it, like just like the apples are very strong, very prevalent of course, but just behind the apple taste is like a slight stagnant taste. Is it worth waiting 2 years for? Not really. It probably made it taste worse, like I said. It's not the worst cider I've ever had, but it's certainly not the best. I'm not really doing it justice because, like I say, I've left it for so long it's past its sell-by date, but it shouldn't affect it, I don't know. But there is like a funny, like stagnant chemical taste in the background to it, and I don't know what that is. If anyone knows, get in the comments. I'm not going to drink all of that, I'm not going to lie. A 5.5 out of 10. Only reason being, I'm not sure whether it's meant to taste like that or whether it's, as I say, gone off or anything. If I'd have drunk it when I purchased it, I'd probably give it maybe a 6, 6.5. Excuse me. Get that, that was right in the microphone as well. I've probably blown all your ears out if you're listening to it on headphones. I think I got it somewhere like Home Bargains or, you know, B&M. Like, I think it's, I can't remember which one's got the alcohol license, but like one of these cheap shops we get in the UK here. And I just saw it and I was like, I've never seen that before, and I just grabbed a bottle of it and then I've not drunk it. Anyway, it's alright. Like, can you imagine if it's gone off? Maybe it gets you more pissed or something. Jesus, that's a sobering thought. Yeah, about 5.5. That's only because, as I say, the aftertaste. It's not an aftertaste. It's like I don't know what it is. It's like a background taste. It's just a little bit odd. So yeah, it's not bad, but I'm glad I've had it. I'm glad I finally had it. So, Waddle Goose cider by Aspel, 4.6%. Quite cool artwork though. I like that. Cheers. Right, enough talking. Let's get walking. We've just left the main gates and gatehouse of Copt Hall, which was pretty elaborate. We crossed the main road. This here is Lodge Road, and apparently it used to be an actual public road. You know, vehicles would drive on it and stuff. And it says it was only closed to traffic in the mid-1990s. It's a good demonstration of the speed at which nature can reclaim its own, and you can sort of see where they've blocked the road. Just behind me there's this like bank of earth and stuff. Obviously, like the highways agency or whoever just threw that up to block access from the main road, and now it's like a lay-by for cars. And then just past that you can just see the gatehouse and stuff of Copt Hall. You can see tarmac. Look, you can see tarmac here. How cool's that? We're walking on like an abandoned road. I always think that's so cool. So yeah, this is Lodge Road. Yeah, we're basically following this back to the car park, which is pretty cool. So nice and simple, not far to go. Hey! just on the left hand side of Lodge Road is Bog North, which I believe is this here. I can actually see two concrete bollards, and they were in the car park, so literally the car is a couple of minutes away. Right, so Bog North, this is really cool. I've literally just seen this and I thought, got to show you. This important bog is ponded back by the road you are standing on, which radiocarbon dating of a borehole down to the bottom of the bog dates to 2000 BC, so it must originally have been a raised segment of Neolithic trackway. It is one of the last sites in eastern England for the insect trapping roundlead, sundew and cotton grass, bog pondweed and water horsetail, as well as 5 different species of peat forming sphagnum moss. This revetment has been vandalised recently, leading to the lowering of the water level and the flooding of the road. If apprehended, the perpetrator faces prosecution in accordance with the bylaws under the Epping Forest Various Powers Act Amendments 1977. Over the next few months, the revetment will be restored and this road will have to be closed temporarily while the work is completed. In the meantime, please help to protect this important site by not trampling the bank. Wow, that's pretty cool. So this is actually quite a serious little site, this. So obviously people have been trampling this bank and flooding this road, which is like a, as I say, like a, it's still like a byway. I mean, people can still walk, run, cycle, ride horses down here, I guess, I don't know. Look, you can see there the embankment there, and then it looks like it goes down over there. There's a big dip down there, and then just up here you can see where it's flooding as well. I reckon probably it gets a bit flooded this, and then people just walk along the embankment to avoid getting wet feet because they're puss boys, and as a result it tramples it even more. Look, and causes it to flood. Look, oh, that's so cool. So this thing is like from 2000 BC. How cool's that? This is the walk that keeps on giving. I'm not going to lie, that bog absolutely stinks. It reeks. Oh, there's definitely a bog. Look, and then it runs down across the pathway there. That's so cool. That's a really cool end to this walk. And look, there's a bit more of it. Look, that sort of flooded that bit there where that tree is. And there we are, centre of the screen is my little car. We're back at the car park, just off of this abandoned Lodge Road. That was a really good little walk. Really enjoyed that. Okie dokie everyone, that is the end of the walk. I'm back in my car, the Silver Machine, and this has been the second Macmillan Cancer Support charity walk that I've done. As I say, it's all to build up my miles. Eventually I want to have done 100 miles throughout October this year. That's the challenge that Macmillan have set people. So thank you to everyone that's donated so far. I think I'm up to £65 and I've just set it at £100. I know it's not a lot, but of course I've just done the Chess Homeless Charity Chelsea Centenary Walk. Thank you for donating to my Macmillan one, which is on my Facebook page. Just search Tom Hill and you'll see like a picture of me by a North Downs Way milestone. That's me. Yeah, and just sort of give what you can, really. I know times are tough at the moment, no one's got much money, but just give what you can, even if it's a quid, whatever. Honestly, I'm willing to bet my next paycheck that every one of you has been affected by cancer in some ways, whether you've had it, whether you've had loved ones or friends that have sadly passed away from it, whatever. It affects everyone in some way, shape or form. So I just want to try and bring everyone together, and if you can find some spare change, sling it my way in the donation, that'd be great. Anyway, cheers. moving on, I'm gonna beat a hasty exit out of this car park because there's a few more cars here, and it's just an odd vibe. There's like a car behind me with I think a woman or two women in, I'm not sure, and then there's a car next to me with this older guy sat on his own, and he's just watching the car with them in across the thing, and I'm thinking this is probably like a dogging car park or something. I bet all kinds of shady shit goes on here, so I'm going to leave it on that bombshell. Thank you for joining me on this walk. It's been brilliant. I cannot believe that I didn't get lost in Epping Forest. I mean, nearly a couple of times I nearly did, so I'm really pleased with that. Yeah, cheers for joining us, everyone. Until next time, take care of yourselves, look after each other, stay safe, everyone. Be nice to one another. I'll see you soon. Bye.